As we work together, nation to nation, we see no future in that, as the violations of the U.S. government, Britain, and France have grown into such high volume of crimes, now having to take higher risk because of lies and criminal actions. We, the Ungwehoi people of Turtle Island, will only deal with peace and truth. This is no longer necessary for all other foreign and domestic government needs. This U.S. government does not have the need to concern with our people with natural laws. The Ungwehoi people, as we pose the Gayant Lagoa, the supreme law of this land, also as God, our God, the Creator has gifted our people with wealth and Mother Nature, as He promised us all. As the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776 reads, we have the unalienable right to abolish any form of government that we see fit and understand that we don't have to deal with. So now, with the understanding that we see that the U.S. government stands with a man that has committed treason and has many felony charges, we are looking at the basic things of Britain had built this country on. And from the very beginning of 1492 to present, the U.S. fathers have plagiarized the democracy of the Iroquois Confederacy. This huge violation is now justified by our own Constitution of the Gayant Lagoa, the supreme law of this land. All European immigrant citizenships are all null and void, as all treaties and acts we made by the U.S. and French and Britain. We, the Ungwehoi people of Turtle Island, are no longer wards of the state, and the U.S. government is no longer guardians of our assets. Also, we are not domestic dependents. With all the being verified through the United Nations, we have inherited our lands and beneficial rights and our assets. Therefore, we have all assets to all our lands. We decided who and we want to trade our resources, our accounts and our assets. We shall be open for us and the Ungwehoi people of Turtle Island, as taxes shall be modified through our laws because there is no Boston Tea Party. Start loading up those ships and cargoes for those ignorant ones that don't want to abide by the great law of peace. So hear it. I'm still here and I'm still becoming. I am the real, the matriarch of Onondaga. Thank you.
Whoops. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. You okay?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
The undeniable, overlooked, purposely overlooked is still here.
Started, and we'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. Right. And Diane Swords from the Turkish Peace Council will get us going with that.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to see everyone here, and I so appreciate that we're starting with an acknowledgement of the great law of peace. We, as people of European background and allies of the Onondaga Nation, wish to recognize that we are on Haudenosaunee land here, and it is our desire to learn from the Haudenosaunee people how to take care of our land and promote peace. And again, I thank you all for being here. And
thank PSL and DSA for providing security, and ask you all to please follow their directions. As we all know, we keep us safe.
That's right. Yes.
And thank you to the 4 organizations that organized this: the Syracuse Democratic Socialists of America, Syracuse Party for Socialism and Liberation, Jewish Voice for Peace Syracuse, and the Syracuse Peace Council. So let's take a moment to remember not only Renee Nicole Good, murdered by ICE agents yesterday in Minneapolis, but also every other person gunned down by the apparatus of state repression since the formation of our nation. We cannot allow this state violence to be normalized.
Right.
This loose coalition of organizations may be varied in our political agendas, but what we share in common is outrage at this fascist government and a vision of a world where being a person of color, being LGBTQIA+, being an immigrant, being a person with a disability, being in any way not male and white is not criminalized. We live in a country that has weaponized fear. They want us to live in fear. They want us terrorized, afraid to show up for each other, the way people across the country have and will continue to do so. So let's stay brave, stay committed, and stay together. Take a look around you. This is our community, and we thank each of you. Okay, so I just had to get my little thing in there. So now you know what the plan is. I'll let you know what the plan is. First, each organization will give a short statement, and then we've invited SIRDN, the Syracuse Immigration and Refugee Network, to speak as well. And then, it's not happenstance we're outside John Mannion's office. We have postcards that we would like people to fill out before they leave and put in an envelope that we will then deliver to him. So let's get started. And we'll get started with Democrats for Socialist America and Tammy Honeywell.
Thank you everybody for being here. Syracuse Democratic Socialists of America is in full solidarity with the Venezuelan people. The illegal U.S. military operation resulting in the abduction of President Nicolas Maduro and First Lady Celia Flores is an act of imperialist aggression, a violation of international law, and an assault on the right of self-determination. Damn right. This is not the first time we have seen this. We saw it with Iraq and Afghanistan. We see it with Palestine, Congo, and Sudan. We know it's in our country's DNA. It goes all the way back to Christopher Columbus. The lie we are told is that we are spreading democracy. In reality, we are stealing resources, selling them to the highest bidder, and having a devastating impact on those who live there. Our actions have caused poverty, food shortages, the spread of diseases, and innumerable deaths, including those of U.S. soldiers and innocent civilians. We denounce the statement by Democratic Representative John Mannion. By commending the military for this kidnapping, Mannion has chosen to prioritize the logistics of empire over human rights and democracy. Shame! We oppose imperialism regardless of which political party is cheering it on. Another war for oil is not the answer. Attempting to spread propaganda about socialism is not the answer. Control over the Western Hemisphere is not the answer. The days of occupation everywhere are at an end. We need food, healthcare, and affordable housing. We need environmental protections to counteract harm to the planet. We need our own corruption and authoritarianism to end. We need to hold Trump accountable. We need Congress to do its job, and we need to tax the rich. Call or write Congressman Mannion and let him know our demands. No more wars for oil. No coup in Venezuela. Release Maduro and Flores. End all sanctions on Venezuela. Pass the War Powers Resolution and impeach Trump for war crimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Let's do a chant. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fund our schools, not a war.
1, 2, 3, 4. Fund our schools, not a war.
5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the bombs. It's not too late.
5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the bombs. It's not too late.
No more coups. No more wars.
No more coups. No more wars.
Venezuela isn't yours.
Venezuela isn't yours.
Okay. I'd like to invite Rachel from Jewish Voice for Peace up to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel. I'm speaking on behalf of Jewish Voice for Peace Syracuse. If you're not familiar, JVP is the world's largest progressive anti-Zionist organization. So, Jewish Voice for Peace stands today with our community to support this collective message, loud and clear. We condemn the criminal and colonial military aggression of the United States against Venezuela. This brazen, violation of international law and the sovereignty of the Venezuelan people is cut from the same cloth as the US-funded genocide in Gaza, where the Palestinian people's rights and freedoms have been brutally sacrificed in the interest of American imperial power.
Shame!
After witnessing the burial of the international legal system in Gaza, we are now witnessing the emergence of a global era of might makes right, just as Palestinian civil society had forewarned. From Palestine to Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, the pattern is consistent. The United States enables or carries out mass violence in the name of stability, security, or humanitarian concern, while pursuing dominance and control over land, labor, and resources. What is happening now in Venezuela follows the same logic. Military force and coercion are once again being used to impose political outcomes and secure access to the Earth's resources, in this case, oil. These military attacks come after months of Trump-fueled anti-immigrant fear-mongering targeting our communities at home and more than 2 years of U.S. coordination and support for genocide in Gaza. Authoritarian regimes manufacture wars abroad to justify repression, surveillance, and violence at home. Militarism overseas and state violence in our neighborhoods are two sides of the same coin.
That's right.
Our communities want bread and health care, not bombs and warfare, whether they are in Gaza or in the U.S. And the priorities of the U.S. government should be billions for hospitals and schools here and abroad. The choices being made are not abstract. Every bomb produced is a hospital not built. Every war is a school left to crumble. We reject a future organized around violence, extraction, and domination. Our movements are clear. Safety comes from care, not militarization, and from solidarity, not oppression. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. So, not a penny, not a dollar.
Not a penny, not a dollar.
We won't pay for war and slaughter.
We won't pay for war and slaughter.
1, 2, 3, 4. Fund our schools, not a war.
1, 2, 3, 4. Fund our schools, not a war.
5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the bombs, it's not too late.
5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the bombs, it's not too late.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to invite our next speaker up. I'd like to invite James Sullivan from the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Yeah!
All right, thank you all for coming out. Get my notes together. The PSL stands in solidarity with the majority of people in this country who reject the drive to war in Venezuela and the illegal kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores. This attack was not a law enforcement effort in response to drug trafficking, and it was not meant to fight authoritarianism. This attack is in response to the crime, quote-unquote crime, of Venezuela using its natural resources to benefit its own people, rather than U.S. oil companies. If you don't believe me, Trump directly stated that his goal was to assert American dominance in the entire hemisphere. I assume he also communicated this to his real constituents, the oil executives that he consulted with before and after this attack. It is true that Venezuela has suffered in recent decades. Venezuela has suffered through U.S. sanctions, blockade, multiple coup attempts, the theft of its wealth and resources, and now direct U.S. strikes. Venezuelans live under a dictatorship. The dictatorship of United States imperialism, its allied governments, and the companies who stand to profit from Venezuelan oil. We condemn John Mannion's statement commending the efficiency of this criminal operation, just as we condemn Mannion's vote to express gratitude for ICE and encourage their cooperation with local law enforcement. Just as we condemn Mannion's vote in favor of the Lake and Riley Act. Just as we condemn John Mannion's vote for the ridiculous bill denouncing the horrors of socialism.
Shame!
socialism is the future, and John Mannion clearly belongs in the past.
That's right.
We demand justice for Venezuela, and this justice must include the end of U.S. sanctions and blockade, and the withdrawal of U.S. troops from the region. This justice must include the return of Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores to Venezuela, and this justice must include Venezuelan control of Venezuelan resources. The many protests we have seen in the past week are only the beginning. Moving forward, we encourage you to organize because there's power in numbers. If there's anyone here who has not joined a group, please join a group. While we'd love to join our party, to grow our party, you cannot go wrong joining any of the groups who help to organize this event. And if you don't like any of us, form your own group. As long as you stand for justice and against imperialism, I'll stand in solidarity with you. The way forward is through our shared struggle against the crimes of capitalism and empire and towards socialism. We look forward to standing with you until this is a reality. Thank you.
I'll do a few more chants. No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air.
No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air.
U.S. out of everywhere.
U.S. out of everywhere.
Biggest threat in the world today.
Biggest threat in the world today.
Donald Trump in the USA.
Donald Trump in the USA.
Thank you, and I'll hand it back to Lee.
Thank you, Lucas. And now I'd like to introduce the speaker from the Syracuse Peace Council, Diane Swords. You want me to?
Syracuse Peace Council condemns the U.S. bombing of Venezuela. This bombing in the early morning of Saturday, January 3rd, sowed terror, killed civilians, and destroyed Venezuelan infrastructure. The U.S. shows itself again as a rogue empire in its unilateral aggression that violates international law and the U.S. Constitution and threatens expanded global conflict. Already, Trump has threatened Cuba, Mexico, Greenland, Colombia, and Iran, among others. This aggression must be stopped now, or it will continue to spread across the globe. The U.S. action sets a dangerous precedent by attacking another nation's sovereignty. This shreds agreements of international order made after World War II, which, as imperfect as they were, committed to a respect for the sovereignty of all nations. These rogue actions on the part of the U.S. increase the danger of escalation, including the possibility of civilization-ending nuclear conflagration. Resource wars over water and oil are the newest manifestation of corporate greed that determines the direction of U.S. foreign policy. The false narrative that this is about stopping the flow of drugs is an insult to American people who grapple with the devastation of the domestic drug crisis. But it's also a pretext for continued colonization of Latin America. Skyrocketing spending on the military means huge death tolls of Americans and others and takes away from funding for the needs of the people, explaining out-of-reach healthcare costs, cutting resources for food subsidies, public broadcasting, education, and environmental protection, among other necessities being cut. The military budget has reached $1 trillion. Can you imagine what that means? Here's an image. 1 trillion seconds is 32,000 years. This continuation of U.S. economic bullying and empire building is now using the military for the illegal expropriation of Venezuela's natural resources. U.S. violence and the impoverishment of South American nations, not the people fleeing that violence, are causing the immigration crisis. And we see how that violence is also coming home, first in Minnesota. Syracuse Peace Council demands respect Venezuela's sovereignty, No kidnapping leaders, no occupation. Return oil fields to the people of Venezuela. Remove U.S. military personnel from the region. Cut the military budget to fund human needs. Support the Back from the Brink resolution to prevent nuclear war, including removing the authority of the U.S. president to launch a nuclear strike without any requirement of consultation or constraints. Syracuse Peace Council urges you as individuals here to call, write, email your congressional representatives, send those postcards, turn in those postcards to Congressman John Mannion and also to Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand. Insist on going beyond words to action. As Lee said, there's a card to Representative Mannion that's being handed out. Call for a war powers resolution, call for end to the war, introduce articles of impeachment.
Yeah. That's right.
Also, mobilize and coordinate mass resistance against violence. This is just a small step in the direction we've been building towards and need to continue building. Take to the streets, organize rallies and teach-ins on university campuses, mobilize in your unions and other organizations, shut down the supply chains of militarism, including protests outside arms factories and ports that provide the weapons for this aggression. We are the future.
We are the future.
Thank you, Diane. Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for war and deportation.
Not for war and deportation.
No more coups, no more wars.
No more coups, no more wars.
Venezuela isn't yours.
Venezuela isn't yours.
So we would like to invite at this time a member of SIRDN, the Syracuse Immigration and Refugee Network. Mallory is going to come up and say a few words. We appreciate them coming after they've already been standing on another corner for an hour. So we also encourage you to join their actions every Thursday from 12 to 2, 12 to 1. Okay, here's Mallory.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm lucky enough to have electric hand warmers, so the 2 hours out in the cold hasn't been too bad. Thank you for the introduction. As she said, my name is Mallory. I'm from the Syracuse Immigrant Refugee Defense Network here in Syracuse. Thank you. We are outraged by the violent military attack on Venezuela that took many lives and in no way helped create conditions that lead to self-determination and liberty that many Venezuelans have been fighting for years. The military assault is not Trump trying to free Venezuelans of a dictator. It is Trump asserting that he can do whatever he wants to steal Venezuelan oil. It is. Thank you. Shame. It is Trump asserting military power so he and other dictators can do it over and over again against all countries all over the globe. It is Trump asserting military power so he and his cronies can continue the vicious campaigns against displaced people all over the United States. All attacks on human rights, both on foreign soil and in the United States, must stop. Our government's obligation to provide for American citizens has been ignored and overshadowed by unlawful and aggressive military actions against a country that desperately demands freedom from their dictator. Displaced Venezuelans in the U.S. are unjustly deported by the Trump regime using our tax dollars. Trump and his cronies are also spending more of our money to bomb the home country of some of those very same immigrants. We live in a system, shame. We live in a system that never has money to feed children, but has an endless budget for war and conquest. Billions of tax dollars are spent on unlawful and often violent ICE campaigns and abusive for-profit detention systems here in the United States. So we are here today standing in solidarity with the people of Venezuela who have been trying to work towards a government that benefits Venezuelans for years. We are here today standing in solidarity with displaced Venezuelans in our country, including people here in central and northern New York who have had to flee the horrible conditions in their home country and who are threatened by those same horrible conditions here. We are here today standing in solidarity with Venezuelans who were deported to Sica in El Salvador without any due process and were subsequently tortured. We are here today standing in solidarity with all the people who are impacted by U.S. military power grabs around the globe. We must stand up so that the cycle of vicious power grabbing ends. We already know that we will get no help in stopping this power grab from Congressman John Mannion. So while we might not actually be able to end the cycle of military takeovers, we must stand against this cycle, because when liberties are taken from some human beings, they're taken from us all. When one civilian is killed by the military, we are all in line. When one person is illegally deported, all immigrants live in fear. When one country is illegally invaded, any country can be next. Yes. And as we all saw yesterday in the video from Minneapolis, when one protester is killed, any protester can be next. This is not a choice, it's a mandate, and we must stand up. So let's make it loud and clear. I'm going to make a statement, and you all are going to follow me in stand up, fight back. All right? So when Venezuelans are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When sovereign nations are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When protesters are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Thank you all for coming out today. Stay safe.
Thank you, Mallory. That was great. That ends our sort of official programming. There's a couple more things that I want to say, and then Tammy's going to make an announcement so that you know where to sort of look for what the next actions are going to be. We are going to be circulating clipboards with postcards on them, and I just sent someone in my car to get a big bag of pens. If you can take a minute or a couple minutes to fill out your name, check if you're a constituent or not, and then send a message to John Mannion. We will be calling his office. They did come down and gave us some water and gave me their business card. And I told them we will be calling to make an appointment to come in and speak with them about this issue and a bunch of other issues. So it'd be great if people could fill out a postcard. Lastly, I'd like to echo the words of James and say, look around. Find some people to join in with. These can be lonely times, but there's a lot of good, solid organizing going on in our communities. So find a group, join them, and let's all get to work. And let me pass this to Tammy for just a sec.
Okay, again, thank you everybody for coming out today. There have been some actions organized rather quickly in response to what happened yesterday in Minneapolis. At 4 o'clock, there's going to be a gathering at Clinton Square for anybody who has time to come out today. And we are also organizing a bigger action in response to Minneapolis. I encourage you to check social media and look at all of the organizations that are here today: JVP, Syracuse, PSL, DSA, SPC, CERDN. There will be other orgs on board. I will be contacting CNY Solidarity and Indivisible and everybody. So check socials, check newsletters, and come out and show your support. We have to stand in solidarity, and we have to keep these actions going in order to send a message that we are not going to sit down and allow this to continue. Thank you again.
Yeah.